Happy Sunday, everyone. Yesterday we talked a little bit about dogs sleeping with us in our beds, and we talked a little bit about some of the consequences of that, meaning we found that through two independent studies, one done by the Mayo Clinic and one done by Johns Hopkins, found out that dog owners do not get really good sleep. A lot of them wake up grumpy, tired in the morning, they're a little bit disoriented. They have problems focusing throughout the day, and that's because their sleep is choppy. They're not getting into deep rhythmic sleep. They're real choppy. Sleep a little, snooze a little, wake up some. And that's because that's typically what our dogs do. They do the same thing. They sleep a little bit, then they wake up and they lick and they scratch. They want to bail out of the bed, go get something to drink, or they want to change positions, or they want to snuggle up to you, and their thermogenic heat being much higher than yours can cause you to be overheated, and then again, you're uncomfortable. So all that being said, there's some reasons for not having your dog sleep in your bed with you. If you're one of these people that seems to be lacking sleep, you're really losing out on it, and it's having a adverse effect on you throughout the rest of the day. So just something to kind of think about there. Today, I want to touch a little bit more about more of a serious consequence for allowing your dogs to sleep on your bed. Now, again, let me just go ahead and preface all of this. I really don't care. I've had dogs sleep on my bed in the past. I don't at this moment because I'm a really light sleeper, and those other dogs used to be really deep sleepers. They kind of broke the rhythm that was found out by these two independent universities who studied this, the Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins. But me, not right now. The current dogs that we have, for whatever reason, I just don't know if it's because it's noisy around my house here, they don't sleep very soundly. They're always wanting to get up, and therefore they wake me up. But other than that, I really don't care much about whether people allow their dogs to sleep in their beds or not, unless they suffer from this consequence. And that's aggression, bed-directed aggression. And that does happen. I've written about it in my book, The Hammer, Why Dogs Attack Us and How to Prevent It. I've also interviewed thousands of people, pet owners, whose dogs have either attacked them in their bed, they are the pet owner, or their partners or their spouse. It does happen. And I guarantee you, some of you that are listening to this video or watch this video right now, you've either had it happen to you or you know of someone that's happened to. So really what I want to do just real quickly is kind of define why this occurs. Why? Because at the end of the day, from a natural standpoint, if there's a time in which hierarchies are just a wee bit relaxed in the wild, it is during those early morning hours, about 1 a.m. to about 4 a.m., that's when most of these social predators will start to settle down for deep sleep in the night. And when they do, they'll crowd around one another. They'll become very close. We call it pack-type boarding, pack sleeping. There's a lot of hypotheses regarding this, wondering why did wolves do this and why do they continue to do it. And we believe that a long time ago, about 40 to 50,000 plus years ago, they may not have been the apex predator that they are today, meaning that there were animals who hunted wolves, and they would hunt them during the night, during their most vulnerable time when they're supposed to be trying to sleep. And so it probably was something like that. I mean, they all probably went to sleep one night, and one woke up in the morning and went, huh, anyone seen Fred? Where the heck is Fred? Fred's gone. He's either dire wolf poop or he's saber-toothed tiger poop or whatever you have it. There's probably a reason. There's always a reason why it drives behavior. But it has lasted through the ages, and our dogs naturally do want to sleep with us or sleep in the same room as us. That's very natural. But here's a couple things that happen that are quite unnatural and probably a consequence for living with us human beings. One of those is confusion as to what is my bed? Meaning, if you've seen dog beds, Captain's bed is a cool bed. It's a bolstered bed on 3 sides. And it's like yay long, longer than the video right here that you can see in the frame. It's pretty darn comfortable. I could probably, if I was to curl up nice and tight, I could sleep on that bed and I'd be as comfortable as Captain. But there's a lot of confusion sometimes with dogs as to what is my bed? My bed. And if you own more than one dog, you'll sometimes see them fight over a bed. That's a valuable resource. That little nesting area, oh heck yeah, I can't even begin to count how many times I've encountered people who have told me that their dogs got a fight over the bed. I know that each one of our dogs has their bed. And if you get in their bed, I don't care how small they are, how large the other dog is, it's going to be WWE SmackDown right at that moment. I guarantee it. There's going to be a fight. So sometimes when dogs are allowed to sleep in our bed, even though they have their bed that they can sleep on during the day while you're at work or while you're away, they can suddenly become very, very particular about that bed. I like that bed. I want that bed. And now all of a sudden, because it's a valuable resource, we slowly but surely finding ourselves wading into a fight. Yeah, it's a fight. It's my bed. And you human, I will allow you to get in it every now and then on my terms. But it's my bed. So we can enter into what's called competitive aggression. The number one reason why there's aggression on the planet Earth always has been, always will be, because the good old Earth that we love so much has limited resources. And because of that, there will be competition for those resources forevermore. So that bed can become a valuable resource that your dog wants, and it wants it more than you, apparently. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason can be what we call as an SBA, a secure base attachment. Now, that starts to include someone other than you. A secure base attachment, I'm just going to wrap here, SBA. Those are quite natural. That's what Mother Nature uses to protect her young. In other words, when we're a little young and we're supposed to be learning through free exploration and through mimicry, well, when we're not doing the mimicry thing, we're going to do the free exploration thing. Well, the problem is you can start to explore pretty well. You got really great legs, you got a good sense of smell. And again, we talked about why dogs wander off a couple weeks ago in an extended video series that I did. They will start to move off and they'll move away from the protective custody of their parents. And nature really doesn't want that. That's how you get killed by other things out there. So you need to be hanging around mama and mama's skirt here a little bit tight. So that's called a secure base attachment. It's quite natural. Any of you that have a young niece or a young nephew, very young, typically about 18 months to anywhere to from 18 months to about 3 years of age, being held by their mother, you ask, hey, can I hold him? And you'll see that little guy literally choke his mother to death before he allows you to hold him. This is called a secure base attachment. It's natural with young mammals. It's there to protect them, so they're a little bit clingy, so they don't wander away from the protective custody of their parents. However, because we, through artificial selection, have created dogs that are wolf-like creatures that don't seem to ever grow and mature past the adolescent period, we can have extended secure base attachments in our young dogs, and we can even have them full on in adulthood. And what that thing looks like is this. Take that natural clinginess. In other words, yeah, I'm going to kind of hang out near you. I'm going to follow you wherever you go. You go in the kitchen, I'm going to the kitchen. You go in the bathroom, I'm going in the bathroom. That's one thing. When that thing morphs to, oh, Lord, I have to have you. I depend upon you. If I don't have you, if I'm not near you, then something could kill me. You're very fearful. I have to have you. You're like the only life ring available in a stormy, turbulent sea. And I'm going to drown without you. And that's a condition that's created typically by GADs, generalized anxiety disorders, or just elevated anxiety and unnatural elevated fear. And so those type of dogs become very possessive of their owner, one of their owners. If there happens to be two, again, they will align themselves with one more so than the other. And they will start to possess that person just like they would the finest bone in the world, the finest bed in the world, the finest toy in the world. Their need to have that person all to themselves is so deep and so, just the word I'm just trying to come up with this, I just have to have it. Otherwise I feel I can't survive without it. I must have you. This is way beyond I like you, way beyond I dig you. I have to have you, and I can't dare share you with anyone else because I run the risk of losing you. So in those situations there, when we have SBAs that have developed way beyond the natural maturation period of the young mammal, they're still there. In fact, they're actually getting worse. Then that can cause a problem for anyone that wants to get in that bed at the same time as you, the dog's SBA attachment, and the dog itself. So if another dog hops up there, wow, there could be an immediate fight. Get away. My life ring, not sharing it with you. And it can have the same effect when a partner gets into bed. Exact same thing. I'm not sharing this human with you. Get out. Get away. Because you're close. You're touching. And I'm worried that I'm going to lose it. It's mine. It's mine. Don't you understand that? So it's really painful. And it's really, whenever I see it, we immediately embark upon doing whatever it takes to relieve the dog of that high level of anxiety that's creating that condition. But I'm telling you what, that is probably of all the reasons why I've encountered, or after I interviewed people whose dogs have attacked their partner or their spouse, that is probably 8 out of 10 reasons is the underlying cause is a secure base attachment. So the next thing, what else can cause it? Partner aggression, partner-directed aggression other than an SBA. Meaning, I wrote about a case like this in my other book, Embracing the Wild in Your Dog. And it was about a married couple. They were newlyweds, and the female part of the marriage couple, she'd owned a dog for many years. And this dog probably had a little bit of an SBA, no doubt, but a little bit of an SBA. And the dog would always go to bed with her and sleep with her. Well, when they got married, he didn't want that. He really didn't care for the dog being in the bed. He didn't want to share the bed with the dog and his new bride. He also was a former military guy, and nothing against us former military guys. But he was very strict and very heavy-handed with the dog. And he says, by golly, it will be my way or it'll be the highway for you, dog. I'm the man of the house now. You'll do exactly what I tell you to do, and you'll do it right then and do it perfectly. So he was a little heavy-handed and created a lot of obedience, a lot of stress to the animal, which also created a lot of fear of him. So what would happen here is that she, because of her career, would always retire about a couple hours before he would go to bed. And she had to get up way early in the morning. And of course, the dog went with her. And suddenly, next thing you know, he started to try and come to bed, and the dog would immediately attack him. Immediately attack. Now, this case here wasn't so much of an SBA as the fact that the dog feared this human, and I just simply didn't have the flee ability, fight or flight. So flee wasn't available to me with my good old dove strategy. I tried displaying, growling, hackles up, and everything else. And when that failed me, you kept approaching me. I couldn't go for the flee strategy, run away from you, because in most bedrooms, if you'll take a look at them, unless they're a gigantic, enormous bedroom, they're going to have about 3 walls in there, and somewhere they're going to have a door, small entrance, and in there's going to be a bed. So when you've got a big man, very large man with the attitude, how dare you growl at me, how dare you come at me, standing right here in this bedroom, where's the dog going to go? Yeah, I can try and go underneath the bed. I can try and go over here to this corner, but at the end of the day, I'm contained. At the end of the day, I might as well be on a leash. So anytime you try the dove strategy, display or flee, and those fail you or those will not work, and you already know that from prior experience, you will employ the hawk strategy. You will immediately attack. And that's exactly what happened. The dog came right across the bed and attacked him. It had no other choice at that moment in its eyes, in its perception. I fear you, and you walk in this dark bedroom, and all I see is this dark shadow standing at the doorway. There's not another way out of this room, and you're approaching me, and now you're approaching me very menacing because you already don't like the fact that I'm in the bed, and you've been trying to create a whole lot of perfect obedience in me in about the last week. And that's what was creating it in that situation there. It can definitely happen with people in the less extremes. You simply have the dog hey, I trust one person more than I trust the other person. I am more comfortable with one person more than the other person, or the other person is getting irate by the fact that I'm in the bed to begin with. For whatever reason, these are fear. I just fear that I can't flee. I'm dealing with something very scary. They're looming over me. Many times you'll have one partner loom over the other partner to kiss them goodnight, to do something for them. But from the dog's perception, that's a human being looming over me. And in their world, that's not a kiss goodnight. That could be possible danger. So those are the many reasons why. There's other reasons. The dog can hop up on the bed and take something with it. I wrote about a case in which a little girl with her newly adopted dog that she got for her birthday snuck off to her bedroom with her dog with 2 cookies left over from the birthday party. And we had competitive aggression occurring right on the bed. Now, that just happened to be a location thing. It would have happened, no doubt, on the floor in the bedroom, up on a chair, up on a sofa. This was an animal who wanted those cookies. She had them. The animal forcefully took the cookies from her, so attacked her. Again, competitive aggression. Some sort of valuable object or some sort of food source that I feel like I want, and I'm going to employ the hawk strategy to gain that valuable resource. So those are the many reasons why a dog can do it. It's really, there's really no other reasons. There's some sort of either elevated anxiety, some sort of hidden fear behind the animal. It's a perception issue with a lot of times when it comes to other partners. It also can become something I took something of value to the bed. It's all sorts of things that roll into it and then can create it. And then you just kind of have to keep in your mind, the more valuable this place is on the planet Earth. Remember, Edward O. Wilson kind of labeled our homes as the invincible center. There is no place more heavily defended than home. Take a small army and have them invaded by a large army, but if they're able to hold up on their land, they're going to fight a whole lot longer, a whole lot harder on their land and in their castle if they're laid under siege. So a bedroom can certainly become that. It can become that invincible center. It can be the place that I run to when there's danger in the house, when guests come into the home. So I go to the bedroom and I get on the bed. Watch out for it. That's all I want you to do, is watch out for it. Because if it morphs into something that I have to have, I must have, even far greater than a want. If a dog just wants the bed, okay, like, hey, Bryan, buzz off. My bed. Don't be coming over here near me. Just my bed. Oh, yeah, I can handle that all day long. I can go, well, I'll tell you what, I like that bed as much as you do, so you're just going to have to get off. So I'm going to work on the command off. Probably put a long line on the dog. I've got a little predictive information now, so I'm going to think, next time dog gets on that bed, I'm going to say off and yank the dog off the bed. And once I do that a few times, then the animal learns I'm capable of making them get off the bed, and we're not going to enter into that competitive aggression over the bed. So that's one of the ways that you prevent this from happening, or at least how you deal with it, is teaching your dog a command like off. And off simply means remove thyself. And it means remove yourself from me if you happen to be on me, and remove yourself from my bed. So yeah, you can hop up there when I don't want you up there, or when I don't care if you're up there, but if I want you to get down, no matter what, even if you do let your dog sleep with you, you should always have that ability. Always. Dogs change. They have bad days. You took them for a 5-mile run and you didn't realize you overstrained their paw. You know, maybe their little flexor here in their wrist is hurting. They got some pain going on, but you're not aware of it because remember, I've told you before, dogs suffer in silence. So now you go crawling into bed and you roll over and you touch that little painful area, and all of a sudden, you go, what the heck was that all about? Dog's like, You go, okay, well, that's a handy time to have a command that says, I don't know what's going on, but I tell you what, off. Get off the bed. Yeah, so make sure you teach off. And one of the best ways to teach that is simply by being able to never give a signal that you cannot enforce. So I wouldn't dare try off unless I can make the dog get off. So that means I'm going to kind of know this. I'm smart, got to be a little bit smarter here. Work smarter, not harder. I'm going to have a long line on my dog. You can get on the bed, but any second now when I want you off, I'm going to say off, and I'm going to move you off. And when you get off, I'm going to say, well done. Way to go. I appreciate you getting off when I asked you to. That's really cool. Make sure you do that over and over and over again. I did have a dog that I adopted at one point years ago. I was going to adopt it, train it up, and see if I could find a good family for it. We do that from time to time, even here at Taming the Wild. Dog hopped on the bed, first day I had it, and I walked in the room, and I went, okay, well, don't have a long line. I really need to get on that bed. So, went and got my broom, just like I showed you for breaking up a dog fight. It's called porcupine on a stick. And porcupine on the end of the stick, off. That was it. Dog hopped off, and guess what? From that point on, off. Dog hopped off. So I don't know if I had prior training to off, what have you, and it just maybe needed me to prove to it that you could get off. But either way, get off. So to wrap this whole thing up, those are all the reasons why you're probably going to have aggression on the bed. And again, this can happen to a human. It can happen to another dog. The dog may be perfectly fine with you getting on the bed. I just don't want that other dog on the bed. And that could be driven by an SBA. That could be driven by a fearful situation. That could be driven by a painful situation. That could be driven by a competitive situation. Make sure, no matter what, even if your dog sleep with you, you have the ability to get them off the bed. Anytime you need them off the bed. Now, as far as keeping them from getting on the bed, it's called a bedroom door. Works like a champ. Pick battles big enough to matter, small enough to win. So me, I'm going to walk in my bedroom. You're going out with me. I'm going to shut the door behind me. Done. Game over. Game over. I don't now have to embark upon all this other training. Okay, so if you step in my bedroom, you're going to get in trouble. No, it's hard for animals to pinpoint associations with stuff like that. Don't worry about it. It's called a bedroom door. Just shut the darn thing. You can also try having the animal sleep on the floor. Hey, you can sleep in here with me. You just don't have to sleep on the bed with me. Give that a shot. See if that works out well for you, if you can still sleep and get a good night's rest. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have a command off, and I mean it. When I say off, I don't care what you're on. Get off. And I'm going to start with the long line. If the long line doesn't work for me, I'll go with a porcupine on a stick. If the porcupine on a stick just causes me an animal going, okay, wait a minute. I've had that done to me before. I can handle that like an all-day sucker, and I'm going to climb up that porcupine and up that stick at you. Then I'm not going to do it. Then I'm just going to, again, use my brain here. And at some point, I'm going to put a remote training collar on the dog. And then when you hop on the bed, I'm going to say off. The dog does. I'm going to say, and the dog goes, oh, okay, there's something going on the bed here. Yeah, it's going to keep going until you get off. And then when they hop off, I'll let go. And we're going to be gone, and we're going to be on our merry way. And now everyone gets to stay safe. But be careful, guys. I have interviewed and worked with thousands and thousands of cases of dog aggression. And I can safely say, without actually going back through all of my notes and all my manuals and all my computer softwares that I use to gain information, like I'm standing here right now in what I call the war room. I'm going to move the camera a little bit here. And you'll see just a whole bunch of notes. This whole wall is nothing more than a big old white wall. And Kira and I strategize on here. I write a lot of notes on here, connect a lot of dots back and forth. But if I went through all of that stuff, I would guarantee you with ease that a good 30 to 40% of cases involving human aggression or fights in the house with other dogs are centered around either dog beds or the human bed that somehow or another becomes the dog bed. So watch out for it. At the end of the day, if it brings you comfort, you've not had a problem, good for you. I'd still train off. I still would. Because we all end up getting another dog at some point. We just do. And when we do, we all fall prey to what's called the old Buster syndrome. Old Buster was a good old dog. He could hop up on my bed. I could sleep with him, snuggle with him, not a problem whatsoever. And now all of a sudden, this isn't Buster. It's not old Buster reincarnate. It's a new dog. A new dog comes with a different attitude. Or you get a puppy. Everything's hunky-dory with the puppy. But then it grows up and becomes an adult. And things start to change a little bit up there. Okay, so I kind of went to bed by myself. It's only a king size, and I like to stretch out. So watch out, guys. Make sure you have an off. You have a problem, get the dog off your bed. If this continues to be a problem more than 2 or 3 times, that's probably a persistent problem that's going to last. You just violated all your rights. You're no longer going to sleep on my bed. So now we can try going down to the floor. Same issue, now you're out of the bedroom. Do it, guys. Be safe. At the end of the day, I know you love your pets. I certainly love mine. Safety comes number 1. Safety. Safety for you, safety for the other dogs in your household, and certainly safety for your spouse or any partner that you have that can share the bed with you. All right, guys, if you found this beneficial, please share it with someone who's sleeping with their dogs or intends on having their dogs sleep with them. And if you have any questions about it, drop it down in the feed. I do know I'm a little late on responding to some comments over the last 3 or 4 days. Karen and I have been traveling. Again, we've been out in the wild and kind of don't get a lot of good cell reception out there. It's kind of hard to stay connected. So that being said, I'm going to try and get caught up here today and tomorrow, and I'll be doing some more Facebook Lives on some different subjects starting tomorrow. One of those is, do dogs understand what timeouts are? So that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Do they get a timeout? What's a timeout to a dog? And if you're going to do it, should you use its kennel? Should you use a crate? So we'll cover that tomorrow, and then we've got a bunch of stuff this week. I also want to talk about the 4th of July coming up and fireworks. Oh my goodness. So I'll make sure I cover that on Tuesday, give you plenty of time to get things taken care of before Saturday when the 4th of July happens with a lot of fireworks, a lot of boom going off. Can scare dogs like no tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll be checking in with you guys again tomorrow. Take care.